Hey everybody, Craig Forman, Senior People Scientist here at Culture Amp. I am really excited today to be here with somebody that I've formed a great relationship with, Erica Keswin, the author of Bring Your Human to Work. Thank you so much for joining us and being here with us.
Other than the weather, I'm excited to be out here.
I know, San Francisco, not at its finest, but that's okay. We'll fare that through. So let's just start. So you sent me this book, gosh, 3 or 4 months ago, and as soon as I got it, I was completely inspired. What you're hitting on, what you're talking about is really what we talk a lot about here at Culture Amp. And then you also reference a whole bunch of our clients, so that was really exciting. But let's just rewind. I'd love to know first, what inspired you to write this book?
As technology became more and more prevalent, I began to see that people weren't connecting in the way that they once were. And at first I was surprised by it, but then as a workplace strategist, really wanted to understand what the impact of that would be to us as people, but also to our businesses. And the story that I was told, which said to me, you know what, you need to write this book now. You need to look into this now, was when a CEO shared with me that a conference call took place in his company, and he found out after the fact that all 9 people on the call had called in from under the same roof. And what I found was that, excusing the pun, left to our own devices, we're often not connecting. And it is impacting us as humans, and it is impacting our businesses. And that was, one of my many inspirations behind writing the book.
And in your work and in your research, did that hold, or what did you find to be like the biggest issues that you're seeing right now in the workplace as you're writing this book and doing your research?
There are a lot of issues at play when I think about this and think about the new world of work and why is this becoming an issue now. And one of the things that I saw was that as technology has played a bigger and bigger role in our lives, everything from how we order food to how we date or how we break up or pretty much how we do everything, I started to see another trend at the same time. And I started to see the word human popping up everywhere I looked. How do you create a human workplace? I want to bring my human to work. And I started wondering my whole self to work. What does that even mean? What does that look like? And why is this happening now? And what I found and what I believe is that the more time that we're on technology, the more disconnected we feel as humans, the more we realize that something is missing. And that something is missing. It can be in our personal life, it's in our work lives, and we spend a lot of our life at work. And so I'd say that's the biggest issue that we're facing today.
Is that, the disconnection. Absolutely.
The disconnection and how it's pushing us to realize, I call it, I just wrote an article and called it the silver lining revolution. That yes, our technology is dividing us and distracting us. A recent study found that we will spend between the ages of 13 and 79, we'll spend 5 years of our lives on social media. Kind of insane. My son will probably be doing Fortnite for a lot of that time. But it's also that silver lining piece is that we're realizing that something is missing and we're beginning to do something about it. Each one of us is a leader. Each one of us needs to think about how we bring our own human to work every day. It's about being real. It's about being authentic. It's about living your values. It's about being present. It's about leveraging technology to connect, but then also when you're face to face, putting that phone away and connecting on a more human level. And so every day, all of us can move the needle.
Show up. And we've had this conversation about the values that we have our organizational values and support an organization lives those values, but for individuals, what are your values? What are we, and show up that way.
Right, and in an ideal world, my individual values will align with my company values, which is why I went to work there in the first place. But you want those values to be alive and to live them, both your personal values, but then also those of the organization.
Awesome. Okay, so final question. You dedicated an entire chapter in your book to well-being, and that's a big focus of ours. Both right now, we're doing a campaign around well-being, but also just in general. Like our surveys, what we're trying to do in the workplace and really advance, make workplaces more human in general by allowing organizations to listen to their people in a healthy way and then take action. How do you see, so what does wellness have to do with creating a more human workplace?
The workplace has changed and technology is having us all question this new world of work, what is the role of technology? What is the impact of that on our health is one piece of it. And when I think about wellness at work, it's holistic, or the companies that are doing it the best are looking at it in a holistic way. Giving everybody a Fitbit, doing a fun run challenge, that's great, but well-being at work is much more than that. So there's the physical piece, there's the mental health piece. More and more companies are offering coaching and opportunities to go see a therapist at all levels in the organization. The Surgeon General found that the biggest health risk facing our country is not smoking or secondhand smoke, it's isolation and loneliness. We are not connecting. It goes back to left to our own devices. But we spend 8, 10, more hours than that at work. So if we can think about how to create a more healthy workplace, how to disconnect and so that you can reconnect. What are managers saying about that? And if managers don't address how you can disconnect, the default is that everybody feels like they need to be on all the time, which leads to stress, that leads to burnout. So this is something that companies are proactively looking at. I love that you guys are looking at this, and I think it's only going to be something that becomes more pervasive as we see the impact that technology is having on our health.
Yeah. Erica, thank you so much for coming to take time with us, and also for just being a champion out there helping promote this. I believe that all of us that are really passionate about this, doing work to make the world a better place, and you are absolutely moving that cause forward. And thank you for joining us at Culture Amp, and thank you everybody for spending a couple minutes with us in this interview.
Great. Well, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.